keeping some basketball theme here. So, and we can go through some of these names, and I'm very curious about the USA basketball thing. Anyway, let's basketball Hall of Fame class, right? We talked about last week that Carmelo was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame. It wasn't official. Mr. Shams, what the fuck is last? How do you say his last name? How do you say that guy's last name? The new
Um,
Woj, the
oh
Black
my gosh.
Woj.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up his
Shamari,
name. Yeah, I don't want to
Shamar.
mess up his name.
Yeah. Anyway, everything became official over the weekend because obviously the final four was over the weekend, so I think they usually make the announcements over the final four weekend. So here's the rest of the list. And you and I were talking a little bit about Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard's in, right? Billy Donovan, who's basically going in because of what he did at Florida, back-to-back national championships. Referee Danny Crawford. I had a flashback when I saw it. I was like, oh shit, wow. Haven't heard that name in a while. Then we have a trio of women, WNBA, college, whatever. Sue Bird, who, Jesus Christ, no shit.
Yeah, that's what I was just
I,
about to say.
she was Caitlin Clark before there was a Caitlin Clark,
If you watch
basically.
sports, you don't have to watch WNBA. You know who that is. That to me
Yeah,
is a
yeah, oh
a
yeah,
trendsetter or
absolutely.
like a needle mover, as they say.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't want to. Let's. We're not getting into needle movers.
I'm just telling you something. That's
No.
who she
Yeah,
is
that just triggered me
when it comes
though.
to women's sports.
No, it is no. I'll tell you. I'll tell you a quick story about Sue Bird because I I told you know this. I used to be a sports writer, and I covered the WNBA for a year. It was the first year that the Connecticut Sun played in Connecticut, and uh, that year the WNBA All Star Game was at Madison Square Garden, and she had like an impromptu. Don't forget, guys, she played at UConn, right? Won a national championship. Obviously, I forget how many she won. Um, but she has an impromptu like press conference on the court during the skills competition with the Connecticut media. Don't forget, we didn't have as much access to her now that she was WNBA. She was playing in fucking Seattle at the time, right? She
Yep,
was only
Seattle
coming,
Storm.
yeah,
Yep.
she was only coming to the East Coast once a year. And then for the All Star game, let me tell you something. That woman has the patience of a saint because she answered every fucking question. She was very nice. I'll never forget it. She's actually a down to earth individual, despite how big she is when it comes to not only women's basketball but just sports in general. So I'll shout out to Sue Bird because she really is a nice person. Um, Maya Moore, another UConn graduate, played with the Minnesota Lynx with the WNBA, and then Sylvia Fowles. I don't know much about her, but she was also another played in the WNBA for a while. The Heat owner, which I thought was interesting, Mickey Arison. I don't know if I'm
Harrison, I
saying
think.
Arison.
Harrison. I
Okay.
think Harrison. I think.
And then this is where I want to have the conversation, right? And I had to because I was confused, but then I did some research and I'm like, oh, okay. So the entire 2008 US men's basketball team made it in. Now you're asking yourself, why? So if you remember, they were called the Redeem Team because in the previous Olympics, the USA team finished for the bronze.
Yep.
It was the Greece Olympics that would have been 2004. So what did they do? They're like, fuck this. We can't, this is not the way it should be. So what happens? Coach K is the coach, right? Who else is on that staff? Jim Boeheim, Mike D'Antoni, and there was somebody else. God, I had it up before. There was also another coach on there that was pretty well known. I can't remember who it was. Okay. They go 8-0 in China, and bring back a gold medal. Okay, here's the team. Some interesting people on this team. Carlos Boozer, Lee J's boy, Jason Kidd. You had LeBron. Deron Williams, Michael Red, Dwayne Wade, Kobe, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Tayshaun Prince, and Melo. Pretty fucking good. I would have to say, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Though it seems like, and Eric, don't get mad at me, but Carlos Boozer doesn't belong on that team. He was like the token collegiate guy, right? Because when did he? Was that the year after they won the year that they won the national championship that he made that team? Remember that team that went like that Duke team that won the was him and Jason Williams. Was he coming off that? I
It's
think
a
he might have been coming
possibility.
off that season,
I
if
don't
I'm
give a
not
shit about
mistaken.
Duke.
Sorry, Eric. I mean, listen, we both love Kobe Bryant, obviously, as a player. It's a shame that he won't be able to like be there, obviously, for obvious reasons. It just kind of sucks because the whole team's gonna be there. Obviously, Melo and Dwight Howard. It's fitting. It's fitting that those two guys are going in this year, as well as having this team, this whole team going. So I was just not aware that they did whole teams like this. I didn't know that was a thing. But anything you have to say about this team
When was the
going in,
last
or
time they
people?
before that? When was the last time they won a gold medal? It wasn't a dream team, right?
Ooh, no. Let me see. U.S. basketball
Because the dream team was what 90.
92.
Yeah, 92.
That was
92.
Here we go. So before,
So in between 92 and then,
I'm going to tell you right now.
how many teams won gold? You was
92 won, obviously. The 96 team won.
the 96 team.
Yep, that was led by Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah, because I was in my head. I wasn't thinking dream team. I was drinking for some reason. I had 95 in my head, which would be 96.
Yeah.
Which is
So
the
then,
last time I had remember between that time and 2008, them winning.
right. So then in 90, they won again in 40 years later in 2000. And then it was 2004 when they only won the bronze.
Yes.
And then now I'm curious, who was on that 2014? Let's see.
Was
Who
Marbury on that
fucked it up?
team?
Okay, let's go through it right now. It's a pretty
Marbury?
good team. Yeah. So Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Dwayne Wade, Boozer. So this must have been Boozer. This is when Boozer was with the Cavaliers. Melo, LeBron, Emeka Okafor, your boy, you see sometimes. Shawn Marion, Amari Stoudemire, Tim Duncan, Lamar Odom, and your favorite New Jersey Net, Richard Jefferson.
That's why they lost.
Piece of shit. Guess who the head coach was? Larry Brown.
Larry Brown.
Yeah. That Greg Popovich, Roy Williams, and Oliver Purnell were the coaches on that.
Him and Stephon Marbury and him didn't work on the Knicks. They thought it was going to work on a USA team. Sure.
You know what's crazy? There was nobody over 30 years old in that team. Allen Iverson was the oldest player with 29.
29.
Interesting. Yeah, he was 29 that year. So let's see. So in 2000, this was before the last team that won, before they made the change. Wow. Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
He was nice. I liked him.
Ray Allen. Vin Baker. Vince Carter. Kevin Garnett.
Oh, Vince Carter. That's when he jumped over this guy.
Yeah. The French
Frederick
guy.
Weiss. Weiss, who was drafted by the Knicks and never came here. Piece of shit. And we passed up on Ron Artest for him. Yeah, we had a chance to get Ron. I think we drafted him at 15, and we had a chance to get Ron Artest. Yeah, that was I'm pretty sure that was that draft.
That's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense because Yep, you're right. So Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett, Tim Hardaway, Allen Houston, Jason Kidd, Antonio McDyess. I used to love that dude.
McDyess was good. He just had knee issues.
Yeah, he was a great dunker. Alonzo Mourning, Gary Payton, and Steve Smith. The coach was Rudy Tomjanovich, along with Larry Brown, Gene Cady from Purdue,
Gene
and
Cady from Purdue.
Tubby
Jesus.
Smith. Damn, that's those are some teams, boy. The leading scorer. This is crazy. It was Vince Carter. He only
11
averaged
points.
14 points.
14.
Yeah, that's crazy. Of course, Jason Kidd was the leading assist guy. 4.4.
He's playing
That's
with all those toys.
that's what she said.
Look at all those damn toys he had. Come on. What, are you kidding me?
That's crazy, bro. That's insane. Oh man. So yeah, there you go with your 2025 basketball Hall of Fame. By the way, but let's take a little time out here because I wondered now that we have this forum, you and I have been to the Hall of Fame, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
Basketball Hall of Fame. Looking back at it, what did you like about it and what did you not like about it? Because there are some things that I liked about it and some things I didn't like about it. I thought it was too small, to be quite honest.
That's definitely what she said. Damn,
And we
man.
went through it like COVID times. We had to
that
wear
was
a
like,
mask and everything.
and the thing was that was such on a whim because I believe
It was.
it wasn't
Yeah.
okay. We was able, so it wasn't the first time I went to Boston. It was the second time because the second
It,
time I went to Boston, I actually stayed with you a week,
it was like in
and
2021, I
that's
think, if I'm
and
not
that's when we
mistaken.
went. We went when I stayed
Yes.
that whole week,
Yeah, we drove out to
and
Springfield.
it was a
Right.
whim. It was like, yo, let's go. It was
Yeah.
definitely too small. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. But
Bro, and the thing was like located like in a strip mall, looked like. It was fucking weird.
that was weird. Because I was like, are we in the right place? Because it did look like a strip mall. Everything else looked like it was like, it almost looked like 28 Days Later or one of these zombie movies, like the mall, all the stores are shut down except this one thing.
It was so bizarre. I think
Yeah,
there was like a
it was very
subway there or something.
it was very strange.
It was very bizarre.
I
Yeah.
got in free, so that was a good thing.
Oh, because of the military thing? Okay. I don't
They did
remember
honor that.
that.
I did like what was cool that we got to shoot around at the end. They let you
That was
do like
cool.
open
Yes.
shootout because
Yeah,
they had like
that
an
was
NBA
way cool.
court.
Yeah, that
I
was
liked a
cool.
lot of the old school stuff. That was the memorabilia, like the old sneak, like Barclays. I think they had Barclays USA sneakers there. One of his pairs of sneakers.
Mhm.
And you just look at like the size of these shoes, bro.
I know, it's
It's
ridiculous.
like we could sleep in there. But it wasn't bad. I just think there could be more, to your point.
I think they could. So I've
I
been
was
to the
actually thinking
hockey.
about going this Saturday, taking my son because he's like into basketball now. I'm thinking about it, but I'll see how that goes. Because they're not open for very long. They're only open from 10 to 4.
Oh god. So how long is Springfield
2
from where
hours,
you are?
door to door
That's
with
not
no
bad.
traffic. That's what's not
That's not
bad.
bad. Yeah, it's very I have to say, so I've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame too in Toronto. Have you been to that one too or
No, I
no?
haven't been there. No, no, no.
That's I would suggest I would suggest going.
I wouldn't mind going to all of them. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the, what did we go to? What was that? The rock? Oh no, no, the country music hall of fame, whatever the hell that was.
For those we went to Nashville for my mom's 75th birthday. We took her to the 75th? No,
75th?
70th.
Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Granted,
70th.
he apologizes. My God, what are you doing? You just aged your mom. Don't do that.
70th. We took it to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Um, no, I think the biggest thing is again, it was both the Hockey Hall of Fame and the Basketball Hall of Fame. They're just very small compared to I know the Cooperstown's huge.
I mean,
I,
it's been a long time since I've been there, but I
yeah,
definitely don't remember it being like just a quick walkthrough.
yeah, right. Yeah. That I mean
And
they
it
always
definitely
say
wasn't in a strip mall.
yeah, they always say you need like 2 days to do the Cooperstown. Yeah, I liked some of the things I liked. The one thing I really liked about it was how you could in the hall where they do the actual ceremony. I noticed this the other day because I was watching Vince Carter's speech from last year. I think it was. Um you could like click on and get a nice history of every player that's there. It's a nice video. I mean, you could fucking be there all day watching that. But the biggest thing was standing next to the height. So I took a picture like Shaq cut out.
Yeah, the real life, not the real life posters, but yeah, the cutout, the cardboard cutouts of them at their real height.
Yeah,
and you look like a midget.
Yes, sir. They're little people.
And we're walking around with like dodo birds with masks on.
Oh my god, that was the. Let's not talk about that. That was that time, bro. That was that fucking time. That was that time, 2021, when shit was not quite back to normal yet. But I don't know if I would ever want to go back there. I can understand you going there, obviously taking your son there because he's never been. But Baseball Hall of Fame is that's the big one, which is what 2 hours from here.
Once I take him, I'm never going back there.
What? Nothing would get you back there.
Yeah, they made it fucking bigger. And they moved location.
Yeah. Yeah, like obviously you got to keep it in Springfield because that's where basketball was invented. Obviously,
which makes sense, but that just weird. It was just weird. Whoever's experienced it, they know what we're talking about. It was just, and it was even weirder because the time, the parking lot was empty, the place was empty.
It's fucking so bizarre. Yeah, that was a weird time in life. All right,